Olamide was born and raised in the vibrant, chaotic energy of Lagos, a city of dreams and shadows. In a place where fortunes seemed to change with the tide of the Atlantic, Olamide grew up with a hunger not only for success but for the life he believed he deserved. Despite his intelligence and resourcefulness, the weight of poverty pressed down on him like the humid Lagos heat, and the endless struggle to make ends meet led him to desperate measures. Late one humid evening, as the neon glow of Victoria Island gave way to the darkness of the Lagos night, Olamide found himself wandering the narrow, bustling streets of Yoba. There, amid the cacophony of street vendors and the distant hum of traffic, he overheard whispers about a mysterious figure known only as Baba Ife. This man was said to possess secret knowledge, a ritual, a forbidden art that could summon wealth from thin air. For Olamide, who had spent years scraping by, the idea of an almost magical shortcut to riches was irresistible. A fateful encounter. The next day, under the blistering sun, Olamide ventured into the labyrinthine back streets of Lagos Island. After asking discreet questions from local elders and market vendors, he was finally directed to a cramped, unassuming office in a rundown building near Ibut Meta. There, behind a heavy wooden door, sat Baba Ife, a wiry old man with eyes that gleamed like polished obsidian. Dressed in faded agbadas and traditional caps, Baba Ife exuded an aura of ancient power and mystery. Money, Baba Ife rasped, as though the word itself was sacred. It flows like the tides of the Lagos Lagoon. But to command its current, you must first give something of yourself. Olamide listened, rapt and desperate. Baba Ife explained that the ritual required more than a few coins or whispered prayers. It demanded a sacrifice of one's own energy and spirit, a pact with forces that were as old as the city's bustling markets. Though wary, Olamide's longing for a better life overpowered his fear. He agreed to pay the price, leaving behind a cherished heirloom, a small medallion that had once belonged to his mother, as the token of his commitment. The ritual unfolds. Under a moonless night, far from the glaring lights of the city, Baba Ife led Olamide to a secluded clearing near the edge of the Lekki Peninsula. The clearing was surrounded by ancient mango trees, their gnarled branches whispering secrets to the night air. There, on a makeshift altar, Baba Ife arranged a series of items, a bowl of red wine, freshly plucked herbs, and a collection of small, meticulously carved animal figures. The ritual began with the rhythmic chanting of ancient incantations in a tongue that Olamide barely understood. The air grew heavy, almost tangible, as if the very fabric of reality was being woven anew. Baba Ife urged Olamide to focus his entire being on his desire for wealth, his dreams of leaving behind the struggles of his past, his vision of a future filled with abundance. As the ritual reached its peak, the red wine began to shimmer, and the herbs released a pungent, earthy aroma that mingled with the scent of rain-soaked soil. Olamide felt an intense warmth radiate from within, as though the very core of his being was alight with a hidden fire. In that moment, he believed the promises of the ritual were coming true. The sudden turn. The next morning, Lagos awoke to startling news. Overnight, fortunes had changed. Olamide found himself the beneficiary of a series of improbable events. A long-lost relative, whose existence he had only faintly recalled, left him a modest inheritance. Almost simultaneously, a business opportunity arose out of the blue, a partnership in a lucrative venture that promised exponential returns. Within weeks, Olamide's bank account swelled, and he found himself living a life that many could only dream of. Word of his sudden prosperity spread like wildfire through Lagos. Friends, acquaintances, and even strangers began to flock to him, seeking advice, favors, and sometimes simply the warmth of his newfound status. Olamide became a symbol of hope and possibility, a living testament to the idea that, in Lagos, even the most desperate souls could achieve unimaginable wealth. Yet, amid the flurry of success, Olamide couldn't shake the gnawing feeling that he had crossed a line. Late at night, when the laughter of his new life had faded into the silence of his spacious apartment, he would lie awake, haunted by the memory of Baba Ife's cryptic warning: to command the current of money, you must give of yourself. The weight of wealth. As months turned into years, the wealth that Olamide had amassed brought with it unforeseen consequences. His bank accounts overflowed, but so did his inner emptiness. The initial thrill of prosperity was replaced by a persistent sense of isolation. Friends turned into opportunists, and trust became a currency as scarce as honesty. Business deals that once promised success now carried hidden strings, and every decision felt like a delicate balance between ambition and the shadow of the sacrifice he had made. Olamide soon began to realize that wealth, when obtained by unnatural means, demanded its own form of payment. Strange occurrences began to plague him, a series of inexplicable misfortunes that could not be accounted for by mere coincidence. A trusted business partner turned traitor, a sudden string of bad luck hit his ventures, and whispers of discontent grew louder among those who once revered him. The memory of the medallion he had sacrificed, now tucked away in a dusty box, became a constant reminder of his pact with forces beyond understanding. Olamide began to question whether his newfound fortune was a blessing or a curse. The lavish parties and expensive cars of his lifestyle masked a deeper unrest, as if the spirits he had bargained with were now demanding more from him, more than money could ever repay. Haunted by regret and seeking solace, Olamide decided to revisit Baba Ife. He longed to understand the true cost of the ritual he had performed, a cost that was now being exacted on his very soul. In the bustling heart of Lagos, amidst the clash of modernity and tradition, Olamide made his way back to the unassuming building in Ebute Metta where Baba Ife had first revealed his secrets. But the building was empty. The door hung ajar, and the room that had once been filled with the scent of ancient herbs and the murmurs of incantations now stood silent and barren. It was as if Baba Ife had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only the echoes of his words and the heavy burden of Olamide's decision. In his solitude, Olamide realized that the wealth he had so desperately sought was not enough to fill the void within him. True prosperity, he concluded, was not measured solely in currency or possessions, but in the integrity of one's soul and the relationships that enrich one's life. The spirits of Lagos, with their ancient wisdom, had taught him that shortcuts in life always come with a price that might not be paid in money, but in the very essence of who we are. Epilogue. Olamide eventually began to dismantle the empire built on the echoes of that fateful night. He redirected his efforts towards genuine entrepreneurship, community development, and reconciliation with those he had once overlooked in his pursuit of wealth. Though he never fully rid himself of the lingering shadows of his past, he learned to live with them, channeling his experience into a mission of redemption. In time, Olamide became a quiet mentor to those striving for success in Lagos, cautioning them against the allure of easy riches and reminding them that every dream carries a cost. His story, whispered among the bustling markets and lively streets of Lagos, became a modern parable, a reminder that the most valuable wealth is found not in the ephemeral glow of money, but in the enduring light of wisdom and integrity. This story of Olamide is a blend of the mystical and the modern, weaving together the vibrant tapestry of Lagos with the timeless cautionary lessons of ancient law. It reflects the dual nature of ambition, the promise of greatness and the risk of losing oneself in the process.